There's a new Indiana Jones movie coming out. I'm not gonna watch it because I pretty much dislike everything about it, and as far as I'm concerned, there are exactly 3 Indiana Jones movies, but it's the perfect excuse for me to finally paint the greatest adventurer of them all. If adventure has a name, it must be Indiana Jones. The legendary explorer and archaeologist is not only the embodiment of adventure, discovery, and the relentless pursuit of the unknown, but he is also one of my personal favorite heroes. And to do him justice, I decided to take a bit of a different approach to this painting. A different painting surface, a surface completely made out of paper, an acrylic underpainting, a finished underdrawing, and so on and so forth. If you want to learn more about this technique here, I suggest you head over to Patreon, where you can find a real-time video of the process and a list of all the materials that I used for this. But the basic idea is this. This process here follows the techniques of classic illustrators, rather than traditional fine artists. Instead of a canvas or wood panel, I am painting on gessoed and sealed paper. Super popular among illustrators for various reasons. It's cheap, it's versatile. You can pretty much do anything you want with it, and if done correctly, it is one of the best things you can paint on. I also, for a change, made a proper drawing with colored pencils before painting. Doesn't happen very often, but for this one I thought, why the hell not? And I started the painting with an acrylic wash, because I wanted to set a very specific mood before I switched to oil paints. Now, I have been itching to make an Indiana Jones fan art piece for forever, and I knew that if I finally found the time to actually paint one, it had to be one of 2 things. It had to be either an epic poster-style composition that pays tribute to the iconic movie posters from the 80s, or it had to be a shot from the iconic idol scene from Raiders of the Lost Ark, which, believe me, is a work of art itself. In the end, I decided to go with the movie scene. I have to admit, it would have been super cool to make a huge poster-style composition for such an iconic character like Indy, and maybe someday I will. But the truth is, making such a composition is incredibly time-consuming, and it can take weeks or even months. So, unfortunately, I only have so much time that I can commit to these little passion projects of mine here, where I make a piece of fan art or just paint for the fun of it. And then there's also this other, not so little passion project that I'm currently working on behind the scenes that is pretty much taking up all of my creative juices these days. But in any case, in hindsight, if I think about it, it doesn't get more perfect than this here. I probably wouldn't have been able to create something that captures Indy's character and the spirit of adventure and exploration as perfectly as this iconic scene here from Raiders of the Lost Ark. So I couldn't be happier with my choice. But since I still wanted to pay a bit of a tribute to the movie poster art of the 80s and the illustrators back in the day, I decided to simply incorporate some of their techniques into my process. And if I think of adventure, this here is pretty much what I think of. I know that fan art is a complicated and controversial topic among artists. Actually, everything is controversial and complicated with artists, but fan art in particular is this thing that on the one hand is completely looked down on, and on the other hand is wholeheartedly celebrated and embraced by many. The people who are critical often raise their eyebrows, questioning the authenticity and the originality of fan art. The fear is that if you do something like fan art, it might cast a shadow on the artistic integrity and the integrity of your own imagination. And then there's also the whispers of intellectual property violations that people always seem to have in the back of their minds. For the other half, fan art is the language of love. Love for the characters, stories, and the universes that are so near and dear to their hearts. But the fact is, fan art is a nurturing ground for talent. It's where most artists first picked up their tools and found their passion. And for many, it's the starting point. It's the thing that sets them off to their own journey, and it allows them to develop their skills before they start creating their own unique art. I mean, I didn't decide to pick up a brush after looking at the Mona Lisa as a child. Nope. I watched cartoons, and I watched movies, and I read comics, and I made art inspired by those things. And I still do. No matter what other people say. I don't do it all the time, but whenever I can make room for it or justify it, I love me some fan art. As some of you know, I have this ritual where I will treat myself to a creative project every couple of months, or between big projects where I just paint for the fun of it. A little palette cleanser, if you will. No stress, no real goal, no pressure, just painting for the soul. But I would be lying if I said that I don't care about the end result when I paint something like this here. Who knows when I will get to work on another indie painting, so of course I want it to look great. Actually, ideally I want it to be mind-blowing and I want it to be a perfect painting, but as we all know, that doesn't always work. Now, in this case here, I would say it's close enough. I mean, it's indie and maybe his most iconic scene, and it's a little piece of creativity and passion framed on a small piece of paper. And I gotta admit, that is pretty satisfying. I have a feeling I will get a ton of messages of people interested in this, so let me straight up mention that the final painting here is up for grabs on my website. First come, first serve. But in the end, I want to mention that it's not just about the destination. It's about the journey. For anyone who enjoys creative activities, my advice is this: don't be hung up on the outcome. Enjoy the journey, celebrate the small victories, the interesting detours, the unexpected discoveries. This painting here is a nod to my childhood influences. It is a testament to the joy of painting and hopefully an inspiration for others to embark on their own creative journeys. But as much as I like the end result, the ultimate value of this painting here, for me at least, lies in the experience of painting it. Which is not true for all of my projects, I have to admit. Now, hold on to your easels because of course there is a twist. Sometimes it's about the process, but there are times when the grand finale is not just a treasure hunt, but the treasure vault itself. For what we are about to embark upon next is not just a project, but the ultimate boss battle of art.